You are most welcomed in the Egyptian Economic Center. We welcome you here in our seminar under the chronic problems. And are there any new matters? What is new? What will influence these projects and how can they benefit from this? We were supposed to have with us today General Abu Bakr al-Janji, Minister of Local Development, and Ms. Lubna Hilal from the Central Bank of Egypt. Both are unable to attend with us, but on their behalf I would like to say that General Bakr al-Janji is caring a lot about the SMEs and the projects pertaining to development. He has a group of projects that are benefiting from such things, and he was very interested to come and attend with us, but he have sent his representative representing the minister. Mr. Yasser Abdel is with us here. Ms. Lubna Hilal, the efforts of Central Bank of Egypt are well known in the SMEs and finance as well. And the new definition of the SMEs that has been put by the Central Bank of Egypt, and the 2 billion initiative is from Central Bank of Egypt. There are a lot of efforts in order to support these projects, and there is the non-financial aspect as well. But she had to travel, Ms. Lubna, and to change her plans took place early in the morning. So there is representative from Central Bank of Egypt is with us here. I would like to welcome the 3 members of our podium. Mr. Sabaa, he is member of the board of directors of the Egyptian Center for Economic Studies, in addition to his activity and congratulations for the new initiative that was posed today. Mr. Sabaa is well known. He is going to introduce himself. And we have Mr. Sherif Samy, the former head of the Financial Oversight Authority and member of the Central Bank of Egypt, and member of the auditors, and he has different capacities. He is responsible for financial oversight, and he is a big friend, and he cares about SMEs. And Ms. Ghada al-Gohary, member of the export companies and responsible for financial services in modernization of industry. We are following a different norm, and I hope that this will be adopted by other seminars, that the moderator of every session would be at the first session to say exactly what is the topic of the session he's going to chair, and we are going to follow this system. I'm going to give the floor to Mr. Sabaa to introduce himself first. Good morning, I'm Sabaa. As Dr. Abla said, I'm a member of the Economic Center. In addition to that, I am a founder of the PBE Partners. This is a company that is working in the field of private equity, and we are managing investments. And our basic is B Investment Company that is in the that is undertaken in the stock market. The field that we are tackling includes a lot of seminars and meetings, and there is a great participation from different parties. And the center, prior to that, had a seminar concerning such activity. And the first perception is the great importance of this economic center with the SMEs is very important, because the number of such projects in this field if we as a community are able to create one even new job opportunity, this will give a large number of job opportunities that can reach 1 million, which is much better than a big project that is founded. We are aware of all this, and hence we are looking to the second perception, which is very important, and this is what are the problems from which the SMEs are suffering from. And we are always speaking about the banks, and the banks can assist these SMEs and their programs to finance these projects. But today, in our first session, we are going to concentrate on the non-banking sector. What are the initiatives or the financial other tools that these projects could benefit from in order to develop? In this session, I'm going to present the speakers in the first session, but we have three of those experienced in this field. Ola Ghada, chairman of guarantee of risks of exports. I'm going to introduce her in my session. We have Tariq Fahmy, chairman of the release company, and we are supposed to have Mr. Hani Tawfiq. Hani is with us. Mr. Hani Tawfiq has a long experience in this field. He is the prior chairman of the Egyptian and Arab Association for Direct Investment. He's a member in different companies and has a long experience, and we are going to introduce many Hani Tawfiq in the first session. And thank you. Mr. Sherif Samy. Thank you very much, and good morning to all of you. This is the second session. We are dealing whatever is new in the legislations. I would like to remind you that since 1981 up to today, we did not have a leap in very important economic legislations as nowadays. Those who are more than 35 years old, you will remember that in 1981 we had the companies laws, tax laws, social security, insurance law, large number of economic legislations that took place in 1981. Lately, we are going to speak about whatever is coming up new, and will this be applied or not, it is understood by people or not. We are going to speak about finance and exit from the market and the institutionalization of corporates. We are speaking about the SMEs and what links between the first and the third session. In the first, we're speaking about the non-banking tools, and in the third session as well is linked to a lot of the legislations that have been passed, like insolvency and the capital market. It is not important to have a lot of legislations, but whether it is going to be understood by people, well interpreted by the judiciary system. So the session will include Councillor Jem Ragab, and as well Mr. Mohammed Al-Ahwani, who is representing the legal part of the bank. He is the head of the legal department at the Suez Canal Bank. The men of law are very important, hence this session will be very important and has this objective. It is very important to say that these tools that we are going to tackle is giving opportunity not only for financing but investment as well. We have followed up the visit of the Crown Prince of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and we have a lot of investment. How are we going to direct the money? Will it be in private sector or governmental sector? And what are the tools? Hence, we are going to finance such projects. This is an idea of what to be discussed in the second session. And thank you very much. Thank you. Ms. Ghada Gohary. Good morning. The third session is going to speak about the mechanism of restructuring of the corporates and saving it from insolvency. This is very important due to the economic and political situation that we have passed through in the country. So insolvency is increasing because the percentage of default rate is not increased in the central bank, but a lot of the SMEs have met a lot of problems clearly. In this session, we are going to identify what do you mean by insolvency, what are the problems that are facing default. These are the companies that have commitments that cannot be fulfilled. Also the corporates that cannot finance its cycle and cannot realize its contracts. They have a market, but they cannot finance this due to its insolvency. They have to take a finance, or they are among the negative list and cannot operate. The mechanism that is available for such companies, we have different funds all over the world. The funds that depends upon buying of debts and others on turnaround, and these that include the restructuring, and these are the funds that we care about because we care about unemployment, productivity, and the economy as a whole. There are certain private funds for the countries that have high political risk like Iraq, Syria, and so on. What is really used here is the turnaround fund. Unfortunately, we are very late in adopting such funds. There are 402 all over the world, and Egypt did not have anyone. We have 2 experiments a few years ago, which is the restructuring for the CIB company, but it did not continue, and Sphinx, and it did not continue as well. But today we have another new company with Egypt company for studying the risks, and I hope that this is a successful start in this area. Restructuring is one of the most important elements if you want to help the companies, not only to giving them money, but restructuring. Most problems is due to the management or other reasons. We have a lot of other reasons that could be linked to technical matters or the bad decisions that were taken. For instance, the decision of floating have influenced greatly the rate of exchange and the raw material, and hence it influenced the cycle, and the competition is rather very difficult, so a lot of people have met a lot of problems for different reasons. But management is very important because all companies that do not have a good crisis management department could confront problems. We will have solutions for this because this is one of the most important points that will differ greatly with the economy, generally speaking. Mr. Majid Dakruri is going to speak about in this, and Bahia Ismail from Concord International, in addition to Ghada. And we have as well from the businessman world, we have people who have problems of insolvency. Ilham Zayyad to speak about insolvency in tourism, and Muhammad Abdel to speak about the insolvency and the problems in the ready-made sectors. And there are a lot of problems in this sector, and I hope that we can have Mr. Mu'tasim Rashid, who is representing the Egyptian Federation for Investors, in order to speak about insolvency. He was about to come in the morning or afternoon. I hope he comes. Before we start our first session, I would like to mention Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Munir, who is coming from Central Bank of Egypt. He represents the central bank. And lastly, I would like to greet Dr. Nagla Al-Ahwani, who is honoring us by being with us here. She is the former minister of the international cooperation. She is a real friend, a respectful character, and she was chairing this economic center for studies. And we are going to start immediately with our first session.